This world is not yet ready for all that you will do. Your time will come, Diana. And everything will be different.
Dude, I actually got to go to the cinema. Like I actually got to go and sit in the cinema for this one. Not that I haven't been like all year or anything, you know, they were open for a while during the summer and I went to see like Tenet and Bill and Ted 3 and stuff like that, but like, I hadn't realised, you know, we keep thinking about how long it's been since like March, whoa, it's been such a long year, but like, it was like 5 months ago the cinemas were last open and I was just kind of like buying my tickets for this going, holy shit. Anyway, we're here today because we're talking about the films that saved DC and its franchise from resting solely on Jason Momoa's manly shoulders. It's the Wonder Woman films, yes, and now that the second one's out, it's interesting to look at them both and compare, because I always like doing that, especially with a film and its sequel when they're made by all of the same people, you know, Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot and all of them, all involved in both of them. And I always think that's so interesting because, you know, there's so much origin stuff in the first superhero movie that you do for a character, most of the time, that then the second one, it really represents like how the director and the actor and all really view the world of this character, you know, how they really want it to look, what they want to do, you know, those shackles are let off a bit after the first one makes a lot of money, and it's always very interesting to see. And that's definitely the case with Wonder Woman 1984. It's a whole style of its own, you know. But let's talk about the first one first, okay? So Wonder Woman was a film that had a lot of expectations on it going in, for sure. It was the first, you know, big modern female superhero film, you know. And that's, you know, that's pressure. And it is about Diana, Princess of Themyscira. And how she, you know, it takes her from having grown up on the island with all of these, you know, super buff Greek mythological warrior women, you know, dressed sexy, very attractive, very fit, fierce warriors. What kind of messages is this sending? I don't know. But it takes it all the way from her growing up there and learning about the culture and learning about this evil god Ares, wonder if he'll show up, what, to her deciding to leave the island, which means she can never return because it's clouded in this veil and you can never get back in, except that Germans do when a pilot that looks a lot like James Tiberius Kirk crash lands, and the World War I Germany boys get in, and what do you call them? It's not Nazis. It doesn't matter. And basically she decides, you know what, Ares must be causing this war amongst all of mankind, and it's not their fault, and I have to go save them, and it's my duty. I don't know why it's her duty, but it's her duty. And she takes up this ancient, powerful armor of her people, you know, very nice, good stuff, and hey, out with her, and then she goes and she was right. It's, yeah, didn't really learn any lessons about the greed and evil of man. It's all Ares. Okay. So she's traveling along with Steve Trevor, you know, goes to London, sees the modern 1917 world, and then she goes out into battle, and, you know, heroics and incredible times, and if her and Steve happen to fall, hit love along the way, who's to say, who's the problem with that, eh? With all of that, and with quite the cast behind it, and with so much Captain America First Avengeriness about it, what? Here is my woman review for Wonder Woman. I mean, I do love this, relative to the fact that there are like thousands of superhero movies now. This is like very near the top, you know. I think the whole big final battle thing is almost a bummer because, you know, it's this like dark, like show lesson about the nature of mankind and how they're not good and how they can just have their own wars. And then that kind of is ruined by the fact that Ares actually was doing it, and the whole final battle is like, fine, it's not fantastic. The rest of the film in general is very good. Steve Trevor's great. Their romance is fantastic. And it did a good job of being an inspirational film, you know, throughout, which was important, I think, for the first of this kind. You know, the first one of these that parents were going to show their little girls, things like that, you know. Besides that, I liked it. I thought it managed to be serious, but have this, like, fairly light-hearted tone about it most of the time, you know, which was an accomplishment for a World War I setting. The other villains that you thought were actual villains throughout, not great, not, you know, and a lot of other things about it you could probably nitpick, but like it just works so well, you know. A lot of this just works so well. Really love it, and I'm giving Wonder Woman 88 out of 100. So then, finally, the sequel has managed to make its way out to cinemas in some form, and HBO Max or wherever else that films all get released nowadays. And Wonder Woman 1984 is here. That's right, it managed to be nostalgic for the 80s, while also being like, it feels kind of modern, but it also still has the World War I pilot in it, so it's quite an eclectic mix, isn't it? So Diana is living in Washington, working at the museum. Wait a second. Living in Washington, working in the museum. Wasn't that what she was doing, like modern day in like Justice League and Dawn of Justice? I assume she, as an immortal, would have to move around a lot, you know, to keep her covered because she doesn't age. But has she just been working in that same place, living in that same place for the last like 30-something years? That's not, you can't do that. Anyway, she finds this magic wishing stone and... What? And then Mando eats it or something, like Baby Yoda eating an alien egg, and then he goes kind of cray, and what? Basically, it means a lot of trouble for the whole world. And also, you've got Steve Trevor coming kind of back from the dead, and Diana's new friend Kristen Wiig going a little cray. And it's also Winter Soldier. What? Here is my 1 minute review for WW84. Is that a pin code? What?
Barbara, what did you do?
So long. We can't complain too much, right? Because there are a lot of Marvel films and stuff that are even longer than this. But I feel like this didn't need to be so long. They did the whole rise of the villain thing, which takes a long time to do, but they did it for 2 villains, which is just so extra. You know, you take things like the fact that it has a whole, like, random 20-minute bit on Themyscira at the start for no reason, really. That was too long. You know, then the 15-20-minute bit where she's stopping these jewelry heist guys, you know, it's half an hour in or more before you actually start setting the story. It is like an hour and a half before you feel like either villain is a real actual threat to her. That's too long. There's a lot about this, you know, Cheetah in the final battle looks ridiculous, Pedro Pascal in the final battle is just kind of screaming and gesticulating so wildly all the time, there's nothing more to it than that. So there's definitely problems with this. I don't feel like it's as good as the first one, without a doubt. But, you know, there's still a lot I liked about this, particularly, my god, Diana and Steve's romance. He loves her so much, he literally taught her to fly! I'm going to give Wonder Woman 1984 80 out of 100, but I mean... yeah, I feel like if you took out 20 minutes of runtime, maybe she, you know, had better finale there, or consequences for either villain. There didn't seem to be, really, so... okay, that's fine, whatever, but yeah. So if you're keeping track, that means, you know, Wonder Woman, better, Wonder Woman 84, both good. I kind of feel like, I don't know, I have a feeling I might like Wonder Woman 1984 even less if I watch it again. It kind of just... there's just some things about it there that annoy me, and I feel like they'll annoy me more, you know, because that'll be what I remember kind of going into the next time, but it's good, you know? DC, they're kind of, as a cinematic universe, they're a fucking mess, but, you know, they're churning out pretty good films for the most part recently, you know? I can't argue too much with that. And that's all for this one, guys. My gosh. You know how many films we've done a 1 minute review for on this channel by now? I mean, there was 40 in that Scooby-Doo video alone, you know? You guys should check them all out and subscribe, because we're in that final, you know, it's a Wonder Woman-style gladiatorial battle for the ages, trying to make it to 1,000 subscribers, and we're almost there, so please subscribe.